The Triple Crown News Minute for May 1st is presented by Kentucky Equine Research. They've performed years of studies on nutrition to counteract the effects of Lasix. Find out more about that coming up. I'm Scott Jagow, along with Joe Nevills, our bloodstock editor. We're literally at the gates of Churchill Downs, where there's a huge crowd forming for Wednesday racing, the week of the Derby. Surprisingly, look at this line of people waiting to get in. I know the industry has had its share of troubles in recent months, but the popularity of the Kentucky Derby is obvious as we're standing here.
Yeah, you can't. The numbers don't lie here. There are crowds lined up on every gate you can see, and it's Wednesday. We're not even into Thurby yet.
Or Oaks Day.
Or Oaks Day, or the really big days. But I think one of the big advantages here is that it's a beautiful day out today. And perhaps some people are trying to take advantage of that before we get into some potentially nasty weather come Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, the weather forecasts all are a little bit different, but rain does appear to be in the future here in Louisville, of course. But hopefully it won't be a deluge of all day long rain. A little bit of rain isn't going to hurt. But you have an idea for counteracting that entirely.
Yes, as we know, Churchill Downs makes tons of money over the course of Kentucky Derby weekend, and they've been in the process of making significant capital improvements all over the property. So my proposal is, let's make this an indoor race. Let's build my old Kentucky Dome and get rid of the rain factor and keep us all dry. My dry cleaning bill will thank you.
My old Kentucky Dome. Okay. But we have you here to talk pedigrees. All right. So let's start with Omaha Beach, the favorite. We know what he's done on the track. We know Mike Smith chose him. We know a lot of observers just gush over this horse. What about his pedigree for 10 furlongs?
Well, Warfront is a multi-surface star in North America, Europe, anywhere in the world. People like Warfront, and he's the kind that has been able to do it in the past. He sent Lines of Battle to the Kentucky Derby a few years back off a win in the UAE Derby going a mile and 3/16. So there's dirt here, there's distance here. Warfront himself was a dirt sprinter, and his foals have been able to get it on any surface. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
All right, so pedigree check. What about some of the other horses you're interested in from a pedigree perspective, maybe that aren't, the obvious choices?
I'm high on two Bill Mott horses in this field. My A-plus, best pedigree of the entire field is Tacitus, a son of Tapit, who himself, we all know what Tapit can do in the Triple Crown races, now sire of 3 Belmont Stakes winners, Tapit, tonalist, creator. His horses tend to get a nice 4th, 5th place finish in the Derby, skip the Preakness, come back, do really well in the Belmont. Hofberg almost did that last year. I believe he ran 3rd in the Belmont. Yeah. He's one that I'm definitely going to have my eye on. Juddmonte Farm product, and Juddmonte Farm doesn't breed cheap speed.
And then you've got the other Belmont you mentioned, Country House, who's drawn the 20 post, but he's a deep closer, and I'm guessing that his pedigree suggests he's going to like to keep running.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of prior form with this. Country House, the son of Lookin' at Lucky, who himself was a champion juvenile, champion 3-year-old, won the Preakness Stakes, so we know we got the classic ability there. And also the sire of Lookin' at Lee, who ran 2nd in this race a couple of years ago, and did it from the 1-hole.
That's true. He did do it from the rail post, which is always the death knell we always talk about. And this year, War of Will got that honor. And War of Will's pedigree actually is good. It really hurts to have him inside. But again, Lookin' at Lee was a closer, and War of Will is more prominent, so that there's a difference there.
Right. War of Will himself was son of Warfront.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of horses you're maybe wary of getting a 1.25 miles.
Yeah, there's a couple that I have my eye on, trying to get the 1.25 miles distance. One of them is High Call, a son of Daher. Daher himself was a miler on the main track. He won the Jerome Handicap, went on to face older competition at 3, winning the Cigar Mile. I'm not sure. We don't really have a big enough sample size at a classic distance to see whether he's going to be able to or not, but I have my reservations.
And I believe By My Standards was another one that you were a little wary of.
He's another one this is a classic miler's pedigree. By My Standards, a son of Golden Sense, who was a 2-time Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner, but he did stretch it out to 1 1/8 miles to win the Santa Anita Derby, and By My Standards did the same to get himself to the Kentucky Derby. So it's in there somewhere. What makes me a little wary is that his dam, A Jealous Woman, was also a turf miler, so there really isn't much to suggest on either side that he wants a 1.25 mile distance that he's going to have to face on Saturday.
Yeah, the puzzle of the Kentucky Derby, this is just one piece, the pedigree. And, you know, some say in this day and age of the point system and the way you know, most horses aren't bred to go 10 furlongs anyway, that pedigree is less important because you have a lot of winners in recent years that have outrun their pedigrees, maybe like California Chrome, for example. But it is still a piece that's very important. And when you add up all the other pieces, you know, that's how you handicap the Derby. That's the fun of it. So, Joe, we really appreciate your knowledge on that. That's going to do it for this edition of the Triple Crown News Minute, presented by Kentucky Equine Research.
We started studying furosemide or Lasix several years ago, and one of the reasons we wanted to study it is that it's so widely used in American racehorses. The way that it works as a diuretic, is to change the way that the horse excretes electrolytes into its urine. So we did a series of studies and quantified that yes, it does have a significant impact on several electrolytes, interestingly including calcium, and that led to a new product that could help to replace the electrolytes that are lost because of furosemide treatment. So it was really turned out to be a nice product because in a way it's the antidote to furosemide. It allows you to replace all the losses that you had and the horse returns as before.
Race recovery is very important in the Bob Baffert barn. We use it after they work and after they race. It gets the electrolytes back in their system as quick as possible, and that is so important.
That's truly what KER is about, and that is testing our products, doing research, and then applying that research in the real world.